Tepke Gym in Metamora. Time for another broadcast of Metamora girls basketball here on Redbird Replay. The number 6 ranked Redbirds 7-1 after the first loss of the season on Tuesday night against the Irish of Peoria Notre Dame. They tried to turn the page, and a good opportunity to do it with such a short turnaround. 2 days later, taking on the Limestone Rockets, 4-6 overall and 1-1 in the Mid-Illini Conference. Hi, everybody. Alex Staub on the call of this one, and I know this is going to be a very deceiving matchup. You could call it a little bit of a trap game. You may recall that the last time these two teams played, the last time these two teams played here in Tepke Gym back on February 11th of this calendar year, 78-12 Metamora. But you have my word, this is a drastically different Limestone team, a team that had they defended the 3 at home against Washington a little better, they probably could have beaten Washington. They beat Bloomington in overtime. I know that's maybe the less reputable win of the two results, if you will. But what I'm getting at is this is kind of like the aura of Notre Dame, that this is night and day between the team that played us last year to the team that played us this year. And kind of on that front, going through their starting lineup that will take you through after the national anthem. But Mia Dusek played but no stats. Anea Seldal not on the roster. Phoebe Sewell did not play. I think she was hurt. Ellie Bentley did start but only scored 3 points. And Jakaya Jordan was not on the roster. So there's a lot of Limestone players that simply weren't part of that game last year. And frankly, and I would be too if I was on the 12-point side of that, couldn't care less about a 78-12 game that I wasn't even a part of. And on that front, we'll talk to head coach Kyle Wynath momentarily, talking about how that's got to be the furthest from our minds too. Like, we don't care that we won 78-12 last year. We're, if anything, we're worried about winning 78-12 this year. You know, we don't care what happened last year. And obviously the biggest difference being how many players played in that 78-12 game that are still here this year, as opposed to, I mentioned, Limestone's ratio from last season. Take a quick break and come back. It's head coach Kyle Wynath. Here's our pregame interview with him. All right, back here pregame with head coach Kyle Wynath. And coach, I feel like it's almost a good thing to a degree that the loss eventually did come, because I think it gives this team a renewed sense of focus going into this return to conference play tonight. Yeah,
you know, you always hate to lose, but the one silver lining there, I guess, is the fact that it wasn't a conference game. And so, you know, our goals in terms of how we want to approach our conference season and some things that we still have out ahead of us are definitely attainable. And, you know, and that's kind of what we talked about a little bit yesterday in practice and again today when we walked through during 8th hour was, you know what, it stinks. We're going to learn from it. We're going to move forward. You know, but we want to come out tonight with the intention of, you know, when everybody leaves again, they're like, you know, this is the way Metamora girls basketball plays. And so, you know, it should be no different in terms of how we were approached and how we started, you know, Tuesday night's game versus tonight.
On that front of wanting to play motivated, obviously 2 years ago is 2 years ago, or last year was last year, but that was a 66-point game last year. I would think, especially for anybody on that roster, that's got to be the furthest thing from our minds, right?
Yeah, you know, we haven't talked really too much about, you know, games from years past. You know, we try to focus on what we need to be doing in the moment to become better. You know, and we do a little scouting, we do some preparation, and we try to focus on the things that we think that we can take advantage of a little bit. You know, but early in the season, like it is right now, like we've been talking about, you know, it's really about how much better can we get at this stage in the game, and we try to prepare and play so that we can, you know, be matched up with anybody and guard different types of offenses and guard different types of actions and then try to go against different types of defenses. So, you know, we're still in the early phase where it's about us trying to get a little bit better. You know, we don't want to be playing our best game right now, you know, which means we're constantly just trying to keep inching along. You know, little old Metamora, as I told them, we're just trying to get a little bit better.
And let's talk about how you match up against this Limestone team, a team that I think, and I'll mention pregame outside of this interview as well. This Limestone team, similar to Notre Dame, is night and day from when we played them last year. You know, I as you know, I've gotten to scout them a couple times, and this is a interesting Limestone team, very scrappy bunch. What have you seen out of them?
That's the word that I would use to describe them right off the bat is scrappy group. And we know the majority of the teams that we're going to play are going to keep coming regardless of what the score is, and this is another one of those groups. And so what we're trying to do is get out, play our game, and hopefully if we can get out to a decent start and kind of try to take some sense of control early, that kind of helps. But we also know that teams don't like when they're losing, and they're trying to come back, and they're trying to fight, and they're trying to battle, and they're trying to get a win, just as much as we are. So it's never easy to win a game, and we don't take any of them for granted. And tonight we're just trying to win one game. We're trying to be varsity 1-0 when we get done, and softs as they're getting ready to start here, same deal. They're trying to be 1-0 tonight. That's our focus.
Let's talk a couple of games that certainly stick out when you look at preparing for Limestone. I think the overtime loss at home to Bloomington, or the overtime win at home, I believe, over Bloomington, but then also nearly beating Washington. And like I had said to you, I think if they had just defended the three a little better, they probably could have won that game. So is there anything in particular from those two games that you've seen out of this Limestone team, or do you just take it as more general team tendencies?
Yeah, a lot of tendencies. We tried to prepare a little bit for what we believe they're going to throw at us defensively. And every game is unique in its nature, and so. If you started comparing common opponents and all that stuff, you looked at, well, we had a closer game against Bloomington, and Peoria Notre Dame, beat Bloomington pretty handily, and then you put us and Notre Dame together, and it's a barn burner. So, you take some of that with a grain of salt, but you just try to look at, what are the things that they do well, and if sometimes you think in terms of, man, if I was coaching that group, what types of things would I do to try to maximize the potential? And so you try to almost transplant yourself into another set of shoes so that you can kind of get an idea of, if we were doing this, I might try to approach it this way. And, but once again, it comes down to, our focus doesn't change, and we're going to try to have the same approach as we've had, for the previous 8 games, and this is game number 9.
Last question before I let you go. We've talked obviously a lot about general preparation. Do you have a number one factor to specifically get the W over Limestone and move into that 3-way tie for first again?
Yeah, I'm excited about the opportunity to get out of the loss column and try to get back in the win column. And basketball is nice in that way. You don't have to wait a long time until you get another crack at it. And so for me as a coach, and I know talking to the girls this afternoon, they're excited just as an opportunity to try to come out and get another win. And I think that's what our focus is. Whether it's 1 point, whether it's 5 points, whether it's 10 points, it'd just be nice to get a win and kind of get that winning feeling back.
Well, Coach, good luck on the game. Hopefully we are talking to you after that W. Thanks for the time.
Thanks.
All right, welcome back to Temke Gym. Alex Dobb with you here, getting ready for tip-off of another Mid-Atlantic Conference girls basketball game. Limestone and the 6th-ranked Metamora Redbirds. Metamora looking to return to that log jam atop the conference. Washington and Morton currently in a first-place tie at 2-0. Your Redbirds with a win tonight would obviously tie that up, and everybody would be 2-0. Obviously, Morton and Washington could both take a half-game lead tomorrow. Morton is at Pekin. Washington hosts Dunlap. So if they were to both win those games, that obviously would take us right back to where we were. So as to how things went that last meeting, Kayla Pasha is our leading returning scorer from both meetings. She had 12 in the 78-12 game and 17 in the 59-22 game in Bartonville. And Mia Dusek, Ellie Bentley combined for 12 in Bartonville. But then their leading scorer in Metamora was Jordan Siegel, only had 4 points. And obviously, do the math. If they only scored 12 points, it would make sense that the leading scorer only has 4 points or so. Also, Coach Kyle Wyneth has a chance, albeit in his very young head coaching career, has a chance to at least tie the next spot up on the wins list. He's moved 1 spot up, and obviously when you're able to do that in 8 games out of 7 wins in 8 games, you're doing pretty good. All right, let's toss it over to the public address announcer Colton Kaler for the national anthem, and then we'll take it over for starting lineups. Not during Limestone. This is leading team in Limestone.
flying pitch our nation's colors to the front of our national anthem.
Alrighty, and taking you through tonight's starting lineups, we'll start with the visiting Limestone Rockets. Their head coach, Tony Bentley, in his third season with a record of 13-42. His lineup looks like this. Mia Dusek, number 3, a sophomore guard. Number 4, Anea Seldal, a sophomore guard. Number 5, Phoebe Sewell, a junior forward. Number 11, Ellie Bentley, a senior guard. And number 24, Jakaya Jordan, a sophomore forward. Had a good conversation with Coach Bentley about how the Rockets are looking this season. He's pretty pleased with the product they've put out here so far. Getting ready to do lights out here in Metamora. So we'll take you through their starting lineup. It is the usual. And of course, I don't have my phone light on. Here we go. So Metamora's starting lineup looks like this. Katie Lalamandir, a 5'5 senior guard, averaging 3.3 points per game. Alyssa Russell, a 5'9 senior guard, averaging 5 points a game. Kayla Pasha, a 6' senior forward, averaging 11.1 points per game. Katie Ramage, 5'9 junior, 10.7 a game. In Brooklyn Marshall, 6'1 senior, averaging 8 points a game. And of course, Coach Wyeth in his inaugural season with a career record of 7-1. Metamora, of course, one of the big stats you're talking about to this early start of the season. Obviously, Notre Dame, one of the exceptions, but holding opponents to 27.8 points per game, including averaging winning nearly by running clock, 26.1 points to be exact. And again, they themselves averaging 53.9 points per game. Officiating crew tonight, Jamie Enlow, Ed McIntyre, Norm Ulrich. Jakaya Jordan will jump for the Rockets. Brooklyn Marshall for Metamora, 24 on 24 for tonight's jump ball. And here we go. And we're underway. Tip is won by Metamora. They'll have the first possession here. Again, one of the big difference makers from that game against Notre Dame. Offense a bit stagnant. They turn it over on the first offensive possession. Phoebe Sewell with the ball for Limestone. Stolen, Katie Lalamantir, one-on-one with Bentley. 2 rolls out. KP right there, easy putback. Kayla Pasha makes it 2-0 Redbirds, 7:30 to go in the first quarter. Phoebe Sewell with the ball for the Rockets. Again, her and Ellie Bentley, probably the top 2 players to watch anyway. At least those have been the 2 I've been most impressed with. A couple of games I've been able to get out and watch them play. Right wing is Jakaya Jordan. Trying to drive on Marshall. That's cut off. Stolen by Ramage. Katie up center floor. Ooh, I think was going to try to go over to Alyssa on the wing. Has it poked away. And another turnover. Ellie Bentley mid-range ties it up. 2-all with 6:50 to go in the first quarter. Lallemand here at the point. Pesha open at the wing. They got Katie in the corner if they need it. They give it. Katie, quick pass, great pass at that. Finds KP on the right block. Kayla Pesha 4, Limestone 2. 6:22 in the first quarter. Sewell brings it across for the Rockets. Over to Dusek. Jakaya Jordan. Naya Seldal. At Jordan and Bentley down at the post right now. Watch Bentley tap the key. Katie Lallemand closes that option off. Sewell thought about the three. Good defense by Katie Ramage here, trying to get a 5-second call. And Limestone's going to get a timeout in here at 5:55 in our first quarter. 30-second timeout called by Tony Bentley. And again, 4-2 Metamora here, 5:55 in the first quarter, very early on. So not really too many opinions that you can pick up on the game. I do want to mention next broadcast on Redbird Replay next Tuesday, December the 14th, the defending conference champion Dunlap Eagles are in town. Scott and Colton will have the call of that one, while I will be in Moline with the ICC women's basketball program. So unable to make that game. But then myself, and speaking of ICC women's basketball, myself and ICC head coach Carrie Redeker will have the call of Metamora Morton next Thursday. Jakaya Jordan maintains possession off the deflection. Sewell on Ramage there. Short, or I should say long two, short three, if you will. And here come the Redbirds trying to extend a slim early lead. Lallemand open, as is Ramage. Good number of cross-court passes here in the early moments. Driving baseline. Ramage to Lallemand. Russell, look out. Fairly open three, no good. Is bumped into on the rebound. But nothing called. Redbirds get the rebound, though. Ramage open at the right wing. They get it to her. Katie pull up from the baseline, long, and a rebound for Mia Dusek. Off to Seldal for Sewell. Handoff is Dusek. About midway through the quarter, and Sewell's flip up is no good. She might know. Kayla getting down there for the loose ball, and we get a Limestone foul as she was able to bat it away to Brooklyn Marshall, who was fouled by a Limestone Rocket on the loose ball. Specifically, Jakaya Jordan, that's her first, team's first. See Elena Redgate, the 5'10 senior, for the first time, averaging 4.9 a game. And she'll replace Brooklyn Marshall. Brooklyn, by the way, next Wednesday, I'm assuming will have happened by the time this airs, but has her signing to continue her career at Olivet Nazarene University. That unique Tiger Ball program up there in Bourbonnais. One-handed pass from Ramage to Russell. Katie to Katie. Ramage for three, good. 7-2 Metamora, 4:03 in the first quarter. Should have our mask timeout, next dead ball. In which we will see Izzy Vandersraff sub into the game. Hannah West for Limestone. A freshman off the bench for the Rockets. Driving on Russell and lost possession. That'll be Metamora ball. And our mask should be our mask timeout. I don't know if they'll take it or not. Or maybe they'll just say Limestone's earlier timeout was the mask timeout. And nobody's going to call it, so we play on. And now they realize conveniently after we've inbounded the ball. Okay. So Izzy Vandersraff, 5'10 sophomore, is into the game, 4.3 points a game off the bench. Couple of scratches for Limestone, Olivia Winter, Olivia Kelly, both not playing tonight. So far, all of Limestone's scoring coming from the two-pointer from Ellie Bentley. And she coincidentally was the one player that scored against Metamora, at least the one returning player that scored against Metamora last season. Interestingly enough, I mentioned the 3 points that she scored. All 3 of those were on free throws. So take that with what you will. But shows that Metamora had Limestone pretty defensively locked down, if you will, during last season's meetings. Also, we'll get to it more later in the game, but this, I'm sure, will air by the time, we'll get it out in time before our first game in Ottawa. But we will be sure to read off that Ottawa schedule, at least the pre-bracket play portion of the schedule for you before our broadcast is through. I can tell you right away, Joliet Catholic and Morris are the other 2 teams in our pool, teams that the Redbirds have beaten soundly in the past, but you could say the same thing about Notre Dame, and look what happened. You could say the same thing about Limestone, only a 5-point game midway through the first quarter. So, take that with what you will. It's just historical fact and doesn't really mean much for this season. Redgate from the elbow, nice pass. Izzy down low. Good extra pass there too. Katie blocked. They call a foul. Second foul of the game on Limestone. It'll be charged to 24, Jakaya Jordan. She picks up her second foul here midway through the first quarter. And that will get Kennedy Barber, sophomore forward for the Rockets, off the bench after Katie Lalamandir attempts the first free throw, which falls short. Lalamandir hadn't gotten too many trips to the free throw line so far. She's now only 5 of 8 after that first miss. Make it 5 of 9. Rebound tipped by Pasha, deflects around to a couple players, and Redgate ends up with it, and then it deflects off Vandeschraff. And now we have full possession. Mia Dusak eventually the one to come away with it for Limestone. 3:10 in the first. Hannah West. Kennedy Barber, again the most recent sub for Coach Tony Bentley. Ramage got up there for that one, but Limestone still has possession. Deflected by Redgate. Nice defense this drive by the Redbirds. Here comes Bentley, though. Pull up mid-range, no good, and a rebound for Pasha. Don't let her get running if you're Limestone. Right block, flipped up, no good. Deflects to Lalamandir. Open 3, Redgate long. And Vandeschraff batted that out of bounds. It'll be Limestone ball. Anaya Seldal subs in for Limestone, and Brooklyn Marshall and Alyssa Russell both return for Metamora. Kayla Pasha and Katie Ramage will both sit. 7-2 Metamora, 2:36 in the first quarter. Be a unique spot of the corner sideline inbound for Hannah West. Almost doesn't get it in and throws it right to Brooklyn Marshall, who's open on the left post for 2. 9-2 Metamora, 2:25 in the first. Heavy pressure here from Alyssa Russell. Izzy Vandeschraff has Seldal closed off up floor. West, I think Brooklyn got a hand on that. Elena Redgate, big physical rebound, somehow tosses it ahead to Alyssa Russell, who fakes out Seldal, can't get the shot to go. And the rebound comes down to Hannah West. Wild possession there. A lot going on. Just under 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Low scoring first quarter. Bentley over Marshall, blocked, and Brooklyn gets the rebound as well. Katie to Alyssa, left post for 2. 11-2 Metamora, 1:35 in the first quarter. West on Marshall. Or I should say Marshall on West. Oh, and Brooklyn almost got in there to get the steal, and the Redbirds do eventually come away with it. Elena Redgate with the steal. Nice initial effort by Brooklyn. Stops at the left elbow, a lot of contact, eventually goes to Seldal. Redbirds, obviously, when you only see 2 points on the board, doing well defensively in the opening minutes. Sewell floater over Redgate, no good. Nice effort to get the board by Izzy Vandeschraff. 2-on-2. Lallemand to Marshall. Right post for 2. 13-2, under a minute to go. Deflected, and Seldal able to maintain possession, but not for long. 1-on-1, Lallemand West, maybe a little out of gas. Lallemand and 1. Foul forthcoming. Charge it to 11. Ellie Bentley, that's her first, team's third. Katie Ramage and Kayla Pasha both return, and we see Cam Youngquist for the first time in a while. 5'8" junior subs in for the Redbirds. Oh, she's subbing in for Katie. Okay. I don't think, let me see. Cam last played in the East Peoria game on December 2nd. Took a game off, didn't play the Notre Dame game, so good to see her back on the floor. And one attempt for Katie is converted, and in comes Cam Youngquist. We got a sub. They literally inbounded the ball and forgot Cam sitting at the scorer's table. Well, Cam will get you in eventually. I guess they didn't notice you. Not sure why, but they didn't. Alyssa Russell rips it away from Hannah West for the turnover. Ooh, dangerous pass there. Kayla somehow, what are they going to call here? No signal from the official. I guess they're just going to give it to Limestone. And now Cam Youngquist is into the game, replacing Katie Lallemand. But yeah, you'd think they would signal that. Inbound is to Bentley, back to West. 15 seconds in the quarter. Ideally, Limestone wants to get the last shot here. Bentley's 2, still their only first quarter scoring. That's who's got the ball now. Nice defense, Alyssa Russell. Deflected off Alyssa. And so now Limestone will have 5.6 seconds to end the quarter on a high note. Again, West sideline inbound. 5-6 on the clock. Great defense on that inbound by Metamora. Sewell doesn't have much time. She gets space over Redgate. No good. And that is the quarter. End of the first. Metamora 16, Limestone 2. Back here at Tepke Gym, start of the second quarter. Metamora 16-2 in the first frame. Limestone will start with it. Phoebe Sewell, Hannah West, both out there. Mia Dusek, Anea Seldal. Sewell open for 3, long. Big rebound for Ramage, leapt up above everybody for that. Metamora's first offensive possession. Nice passing. Much better passing than Tuesday. Pasha open on the left post for 2. Limestone will try again. Sewell handoff to Dusek. Tight defense there from the Redbirds. Brooklyn Marshall on Kennedy Barber. Ella Stivers. Limestone fans wanting the hand check. There was hardly any contact. That's just good defense. Ella Stivers in the game for Metamora. Nice defense there from Ramage. Stivers almost got a jump ball, and she'll probably take that as well, forcing the traveling violation. Because as long as there's no, especially when the hand check would have been from behind, as long as there's no displacement, you can't really call much of anything. Unless there's, conclusive evidence. But Ramage in the corner, 6:40 in the second quarter. Open 3, Youngquist on target, banks it in. 21-2, 6:30 in the second quarter. Oh, down goes Lallemand. Limestone thinking they crossed her over. She slipped. Nice defense by Brooklyn Marshall. Again, that matchup with Kennedy Barber deflects that out of bounds. Ellie Bentley back in for the Rockets. But yeah, back to how I thought Bentley had played. I saw her against Washington, but then also Bloomington. I would say she's probably, when they're able to get their most physical, she's probably their leader in that category, and that's certainly something that in the 2 games I saw served her well. And on cue, hits the 3. Metamora 21, Ellie Bentley 5, 6:05 to go in the second quarter. Dangerous pass deflected, but we still got it. Marshall driving in on West, ripped away, and taken in by Mia Dusek. Sewell to Bentley, mini line change for Metamora, next dead ball, big rebound for Ramage. Finds away Seldal for the board. Oh, what a pass, but right through the legs of Ella Stivers. Ella kind of laughing that one off. Izzy Vandeschraff, Alyssa Russell, Kayla Pasha all in. Brooklyn Marshall, Katie Ramage, and Ella Stivers all out. 21-5 Redbirds, 5:42 until the break. Inbound for West. Barely gets it in, but right to Cam Youngquist off the right post, no good. Vandeschraff rebound and foul. Charge it to 20. Hannah West, that'll be her first, team's 4th. And Izzy Vandeschraff will go to the line for Metamora. First at 2, gets the drop dead on the back end of the rim. 22-5 Metamora. Jakaya Jordan returns for Limestone. She was another player I was pretty impressed with the 2 games I've seen him so far. Vandeschraff goes 2 of 2. Moves to 19 for 29 from the free throw line on the season, the team's leader in that category in terms of made free throws. Corner 3 for Dusek is good. 23-8 Metamora, 5:17 in the second quarter. Russell, right wing, thought about the 3, probably wanted to take it, quite honestly, I would have. Volunteer for Pasha. Open at the point. I'd pop that, yep. Pull up for 3, no good. Rebound deflects to Vandeschraff, put back and fouled. Izzy will go back to the free throw line. Limestone commits their 5th foul of the half. Charge to Mia Dusek, her first. And like I said, Izzy will go back to the free throw line. First one is good. Elena Redgate back in for Metamora, replacing Katie Lalamandir. So 24-8 Metamora. One more shot for Vandeschraff. Makes it. And Katie Ramage in as well, replacing Cam Youngquist. So right now, Russell, Ramage, Redgate, Vandeschraff, Pasha. Just under 5 minutes to go until halftime. West trying to get it in. Does find Bentley. Ooh, I'm surprised they didn't call a foul there. Bentley still has it after all that. Threads the defense and ends up with an open 3 for West. Rolls out, or bounces out, I should say. Put back for Jordan and 1. Metamora called for their first foul of the game. Charge it to Katie Ramage. That's her first. And with 4:44 to go until halftime, Jakaya Jordan will attempt a 3-point play. Phoebe Sewell is in. And Anaya Seldal will sub out. Jordan with the end one attempting. That was kind of the way I was with Anaya Peoples from Schlarman, who's now at Notre Dame. But when we first started playing her, I kept saying Anaya. But when you end up having to say her name enough, you get it right. Alyssa Russell to Elena Redgate. Kayla Pasha on the left post rolls it in. Pasha with 8. That gives her 97 on the season. Likely going to be the first Redbird to eclipse 100 points on the year. Bentley over Russell. Tough shot, no good. Nice clear out by Redgate, but Sewell still gets the rebound and into a jump ball. That should either be a jump ball or a travel that goes uncalled. Bullet pass blocked by Redgate. How do you call contact on that? Oh, mercy. And especially on Elena. Like, there were a couple Redbirds that might have gotten body there, but that was a clean block from Elena. Her first, team second, and Hannah West will get 2 free throws out of it. First one is good. And it'll be a sub for Shooter for Limestone. So one more free throw for West. It's up and in. And it's Kennedy Barber that subs in. And I told you this is a drastically improved Limestone team. Katie Lalamandir and Brooklyn Marshall sub in for Alyssa Russell and Izzy Vandeschraff. And it's already evident on the scoreboard. Remember, Limestone losing 70-12 here in Metamora last season. They've already got that game scoring total here midway through the second quarter. So, you know, although they are down 15, it's marked improvement from last season, no doubt. I've got to put them on the radar, maybe a little bit of a spoiler if you catch them on a hot night, kind of like Washington almost did. Rockets just defend the 3 a little better, and they win that game probably, in my opinion. Marshall to Ramage. Jump ball, arrow to Metamora. Anaya Seltall subs in for the Rockets, but not before our masked timeout. 3:49 to go until the half. Metamora 27 and Limestone 12. Back with you here at Tempke Gym. 3:49 to go until the break. Metamora up 27-12 on the Limestone Rockets. Now, I was just mentioning before we came back live that it's 11-10 Metamora this quarter so far. So Rockets playing pretty even. And they wait. That's hysterical. They wait until Limestone's almost at the free throw line, and then Kyle Wyana speaks up and says it's our ball. Actually looks back to one of the sophomore players. Maybe one of the sophomore players spoke up to remind him. Redgate corner 3, no good. Rebound into the hands of an ASL doll. We had a situation, Brad, I think it was a sophomore game a couple weeks ago where they did the tip-off the wrong direction. And I think it was something like 22 seconds had gone off the clock, and then finally everybody realized, wait a minute, we went the wrong way. I think that was that the Bloomington game? Yeah, it was the Bloomington game. Sewell inbound to Bentley. 3.5 to go until the break. And a 5-second, whoa, that's good defense. And it's kind of inconsistent, frankly, with what they've been calling or not calling to this point of the game. That's kind of why Metamora was applauding, like, okay, great 5-second call. Because they weren't expecting him to call it a foul because they hadn't called it to this point. So I guess now we got to be careful. Limestone wants a foul on that. Now, clarification, because I have seen a fair amount of fans complain about that. If it's the same way as it is in college, you're allowed one hand. Now, it's when you start touching with a second hand that's when it becomes a foul. But as long as it's just one hand, at least in college, it's perfectly legal. Kicked ball will stay on this end. Mia Dusek, Hannah West sub in. Jakaya Jordan and Kennedy Barber sub out. And Alyssa Russell will come in for Metamora. And Elena Redgate will sub out. Baseline inbound for Ramage here. Redbirds could hit 30 here on this possession if they wanted to. Marshall intended on the pass, stolen away by West. Runs into Lalamandir, and one. Katie Lalamandir will pick up her second foul. Basket's good for Hannah West. And one shot for West to try and make this a 12-point game. She does. 27-15, 2:41 until the break. Ramage open at the wing, as is Lalamandir at the point. Poked out by Bentley. And Van de Schraff subs in for the Redbirds, replacing Lalamandir. It's now 13-11 Limestone in this quarter. Rockets have obviously done drastically better offensively in the second quarter, so nothing to complain about on their front. Van de Schraff open three, bangs it around and in. Had the one shot earlier, gets that one to go as well, 30-15. Or the one free throw, I should say. Bentley does the same from the left elbow. 30-17, 150 until the break. Overhead pass. Take another one of those. Russell for three, wide left, and Bentley, oh. Katie Ramage and Izzy Van de Schraff share a laugh about that. Katie in an extended effort to try and save it, threw it right off Izzy's head. Well, that can't feel good. Rocket inbound with just over 90 seconds until the break. Bit of miscommunication on the handoff. Rockets maintain possession. They throw it to Ramage. Turnover. And here comes Metamora. Crossover to the hoop. Flipped up, no good. West with the rebound. Three for Dusek is short. Rebound for Marshall, under a minute until half. Pasha stops, hands off Van de Schraff, and runs into a whole slew of Rockets. Limestone's got 4 on 2. Now it evens out. And they got a hold in on Metamora. Katie Ramage picks up her second, team's 5th. And it'll be a baseline inbound for West. Redgate subs in for Ramage. 45.6 in the second quarter. Inbound is the Seldal. Nice defense, Izzy Van de Schraff forces the wild pass left and out of bounds. Yeah, that would be the biggest takeaway for fans, and I've honestly even seen our fans on occasion say something. But I'm assuming, judging by the fact that it hasn't been called, you're at least allowed one hand if you're the defensive player. But if you touch with 2 hands, that's when it breaches into foul territory. No baseball pun intended. Pasha to Marshall. Russell open for 3. Good. 33-17. Should be the last possession of the half. Tony Bentley wants it to be that way anyway. Sewell hand off for Seldal. Tough bounce pass for Dusek. Flips it up, no good. Rebound Pasha, and that's the half. Metamora 33, Limestone 17. Back with halftime stats. I'm right back here at the halftime for halftime stats. We'll start with the visiting Rockets. Mia Dusek, 1 foul, 1 3, 3 points. Ellie Bentley, 1 foul, 2 twos, 1 3, 7 points. Hannah West, 1 foul, 1 2, 3 of 3 from the line, 5 points. Jakaya Jordan, 2 fouls, 1 2 of 1 from the line, 2 points. Rockets as a team, 4 twos, 2 threes, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 5 fouls, and 17 points. For Metamora, Izzy Van de Schraff, 1 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 7 points. Katie Lalamandir, 1 2, 1 of 3 from the line, 2 fouls, and 3 points. Alyssa Russell, 1 2, 1 3, 5 points. Kayla Pasha, 4 twos, 8 points. Cam Youngquist, 1 3, 3 points. Katie Ramage, 2 fouls, 1 3, 3 points. Brooklyn Marshall, 2 twos, 4 points. And Elena Redgate, 1 foul and scoreless. Metamora as a team, 8 twos, 4 threes, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, 5 fouls, 33 points. Quarter by quarter, Metamora 16-2 in the first, but boy, the Rockets picked up the pace in the second quarter. Metamora holding on to a slim second quarter advantage of 17-15 to set up our I almost said final score. 33-17, you think about it, is a perfectly feasible but slightly below average final score, but it is the halftime score, 33-17 in favor of the Redbirds. And why don't we take this time, we'll do one halftime and one postgame, take you through the Ottawa schedule. And actually, we're also on Facebook, so give me a second here for our MTCO audience. All right, so taking you through the Redbird schedule for the Ottawa Christmas tournament, and to my knowledge, this will be the first anyone's heard of it. So here we go. Redbirds are in Pool D. That features the Angels of Joliet Catholic and the Redskins of Morris. Again, that's the pool they're in for the Ottawa Christmas tournament. There are 8 games on Saturday, December 18th, and our game will be the finale, 7:30, Morris versus Metamora. Then Monday, December 20th, there will be 4 varsity games that day, and we will be the second to last time slot playing Joliet Catholic at 6 o'clock. And we'll just play as if, basically, well, now that I look at it, if you place last in your pool, likely both of your games on Tuesday and Wednesday, the 21st and 22nd. So basically what I'm getting at is your first bracket play game will be on the 21st. Your last bracket play game will be on the 22nd, regardless of where you place in your pool. That being said, if you finish last place in your pool, both games on Tuesday, Wednesday will be at 1:30, 4:30 if you're second, and if you win your pool, first bracket game will be the 21st at 7:30. For the Metamora sophomores, they'll open up Saturday at 12:30 against Mendota. And then if they win that game, they'd play later that night at 6:20. And looks like in their quad of the bracket, because for those of you that are familiar with the Ottawa tournament, it's set up for the sophomores. It's a true bracket, and the varsity, it's more of pool play than bracket play. Sophomores, it's strictly bracket play. So if you're still with me through all of this, the sophomores will play Mendota Saturday, December 18th at 12:30, and then the other half of their quad is St. Bede versus Joliet Catholic, and then winner of our game gets winner of their game, loser of their game gets loser of our game, etc., etc. And then again, one more time through varsity, 7:30 at Kingman Gym in Ottawa, Saturday, December 18th against Morris, and then Monday the 20th at 6 against Joliet Catholic. And the rest of it, I really told you just for the fun of it, but it's more of a cross that bridge when we get there type of thing in terms of when we play in bracket play. And conveniently, I talked long enough that we're going to lead right into the second half. And it will be Limestone ball to begin the third quarter, according to the position arrow on the scorer's table anyway, and the scoreboard apparently. Jim Matson, Kurt Pegler both here, so we'll get some highlights on WEK or WMPD, whichever is your preference. Bentley, Sewell, Seldal, Jordan, and Dusek. So they will send out their starting 5. Katie Ramage, Alyssa Russell, Katie Lalamandir, Brooklyn Marshall, Kayla Pasha. So starting lineups for both sides. And what's the call here? Kayla Pasha picks up her first foul, team's first. 7:48 in the third quarter. Inbounded to Jordan, deflected a little bit by Marshall. But Jordan still maintains possession. Blocked by Ramage on the take by Sewell. Rockets still have it. Reverse and one from Seldal. Fouls galore, it seems like. Obviously, it's not actually that high. Foul is on number 12, Katie Lalamandir, who picks up her third and the team's second. Izzy Vandeschraff will sub in for her. 7:36 in the third quarter. And Seldal will shoot one. That two-pointer she just made her first points of the ball game. Free throw is no good. Rebound for Alyssa Russell. Gets away from the double team quickly. Nice awareness there. Paisha to Marshall. Jumper no good. Rebound defensively for Mia Dusek. 14-point lead. Seldal at the point. Handoff for Bentley. They thread that pass. Deflected away by Paisha. Seldal with Izzy Vandeschraff on her. Flips it up, no good. Rebound, put back for Sewell. 33-21, 6:49 in the third quarter. Paisha on the baseline. Russell, maybe if she was a stride and a half in, probably could have taken that. There she is. She takes it, and it's good. Well, she made me sound smart. Alyssa Russell for three makes it 36-21, 6:25 in the third quarter. Wow, Limestone able to get those thread-the-needle type passes. Their success rate on those tonight have actually been pretty high. Dusek trying to figure out what to do on the baseline. Jordan open for three on Marshall, wide left, and a rebound for Izzy. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. We're up 15. Paisha to Vandeschraff, open, three ball, good. Redbirds have hit 2 threes here in the third quarter to extend their lead to 18, 5:45 in the third quarter. Good tight defense there from Izzy. Not reaching foul level yet. Nice deflection by Brooklyn there to get in there defensively. Hannah West subs in for Limestone and replaces Anaya Seldal. West, quick inbound, tried to get it past Katie Ramage, but Katie at least deflects it out. 5:30 in the third quarter, Redbirds by 18. Inbound is to Bentley. Ooh, quick pass is deflected. They still have it. West, kind of a floater, if you will. Big physical rebound from Katie Ramage and gets it away from 3 Limestone Rockets. Kayla Paisha pushed from behind, no whistle, but she gets the bucket anyway. And there, I think, nope, 99. So Kayla Paisha is 1 point away from 100 on the season. Ooh, hard screen there. And apparently nothing comes out of that because she basically leaned into Katie. So they'll probably sub her in, or have somebody sub in for her, I would think, at least. Nope, she'll stay in. Elena Redgate will sub in for Brooklyn Marshall. But yeah, that was a pretty hard. I'm not saying necessarily whether or not it was a foul, but maybe at some point, even if you don't displace her, there should be some kind of ruling in terms of player safety. Even if there is no displacement for hard screens like that, especially without any kind of protective equipment like football or something like that. 4:47 in the third quarter. Baseline is West, ripped away, and apparently with contact. Foul is on Izzy Vandeschraff, her first, team's third. Baseline inbound for West. Bentley, tough shot over, well, in between really, Russell and Vandeschraff. Shot fake from Jordan and a foul. Elena picks up her second, team's fourth, and Jakaya Jordan will shoot 2. First of 2 for the sophomore on its way and in. Well, foul trouble has certainly crept into the folds. We were initially, until this early second quarter, hadn't had a foul called on us all game. Now we have 3 more fouls than Limestone total for the game. So that dynamic has definitely shifted. Pesha, tough pass on the baseline, too many blue jerseys. Limestone with the steal. Jordan fouled by Redgate. Well, we've learned one thing, they're calling everything. I mean, I have nothing against it. I mean, that's just the way they're calling the game, but boy, it's tough to play when they're calling just about every possible foul. West up top to Bentley. Should have a mask timeout next dead ball, depending on what happens here in the next 5 seconds. Jordan no good, rebound to West. Hooking on Redgate, lost it out of bounds. They could have called the hooking foul as well. Cam Youngquist subs in for Metamora, replacing Katie Ramage. And we will take our mask timeout with 3:59 to go here in the third quarter. Metamora 41, Limestone 23. Back here in Metamora, 3:59 to go in the third quarter. Metamora ahead by 18. Izzy Vandeschraff will inbound far baseline. Think about it, a good run here by Limestone in the last half of the third quarter, and there's a chance they could get this down to single digits. And that'll help. Easy steal for Phoebe Sewell. Open 3 for West. No good, rebound Redgate. Now we have numbers, got to capitalize. 3-on-1, Redgate for Vandeschraff, fouled, no call. West driving on Marshall. Well, I guess if they're not going to call that either, how are they going to call the game? Because one possession they're calling every touch, then the next possession they're letting everything go. And that's kind of one of the things you look for out of an officiating crew is not necessarily what's right or wrong, it's consistency in how they're calling the game. And over these last couple minutes, I'm quite frankly not even sure there's really been consistency. Vandeschraff thought about the 3. Youngquist could take it too if she has the space. She works it down to the post, a lot of contact, no whistle. So we're in let them play mode right now. West shot fake. Fairly open from the left post, no good. Good clear out and rebound from Brooklyn. 2:40 in the third, we try to get up 20 here. Working it around. 18-point lead. Cam to make it 21. Good. Cam Youngquist hits her second 3 of the game. Metamora now up 21 with 2:16 to go in the third quarter. Katie Ramage will return next dead ball, as will Kayla Pesha. Bentley drives for Dusek. Now it's in the hands of West. Sewell, where was a foul on that? Cam Youngquist called for her first, team 6th. I didn't, on either team, did not see anything that warranted a foul call. Kennedy Barber, a new entry, at least in terms of the third quarter for Limestone. And no new entries, at least in terms of the quarter, for Metamora. Bentley trying to get her team back within the 20-point threshold. Jumper over Lala Mandir is good. Ellie Bentley with 9 points. Rockets within 19. Youngquist. Down to 135 in the quarter for Lalamantier to Pesha. Ooh, little too much on that, but Katie's still able to at least get a hand on it, so we're able to get possession back. .128 in the third quarter. Lalamantier inbound. Wing three for Youngquist, wide right. Rebound tipped by Redgate, and that is not a foul. That's a deflection out of bounds. Jeez. Elena Redgate picks up her fourth. The foul count is 7-0 in the second half. And for the second time tonight, Limestone gets past the three-point line to realize that it should be one in bonus. So Limestone will shoot one in bonus after that. Kennedy Barber at the line. 126 in the third quarter. Redbirds by 19. Barber is good. She'll shoot one more. Actually, the foul count now for the game, if you're curious, is 12-5. Metamora with 12, Limestone with 5. Free throw front end, no good. Redbirds try to get it back to 20. Pass right to Jakaya Jordan. Limestone will try and inch a little closer. Nice defense by Kayla. Trying to draw. They pushed right into her back and they don't blow the whistle. It's the second time that's happened this quarter. Kayla with 101 points on the season, 12 tonight. And the Redbirds are back up 20. Yeah, literally just a one-handed shove to the back and a no whistle. Sewell, nice steal by Ramage. Saves it from going out of bounds, but apparently not. West subs in for Barber. Hannah West had a 5-point second quarter. Bentley went over and back technically, unless they say she didn't have possession when it touched her in the front half of the court. Drop pass for Seldal is good. 46-28. 18 seconds in the quarter. Redbirds will hold for the last shot here. Five seconds. Youngquist turnover. Well, we'll head to the fourth quarter up 18. Limestone not going to get a whole lot off in 1.8. And that is the case. We head to the fourth quarter, Metamora 46, Limestone 28. All right, back here in Metamora for the start of the fourth quarter, and I wanted to come on a little early because we have a couple big upsets in women's college basketball tonight. Georgia Tech upsets an injury-depleted UConn 57-44 against the Huskies without either Paige Beckers or AZ Fudd. And then DePaul upsets Kentucky 94-85, and that game was in Lexington. So, a couple of big final scores there in the women's collegiate game. .742 just underway in the fourth quarter. Cam Youngquist with it up to Katie Lalamantier. Pass deflected for Kayla. Dangerous cross-court pass. Katie to Katie. Kayla calling for it left baseline. She's got the advantage and rolls it in. Could almost say drops it in. Redbirds up 48-28, 7:03 to go. Pass is deflected off Youngquist. Rockets maintain possession. That's deflected. That time they don't have possession. One-on-one, Pasha and Jordan pushed into, no whistle, but Kayla still gets the bucket. She's like, you're not going to call it? Fair enough. I'll still muscle it up there and get the bucket. Lana Redgate in there as well for Metamora. Tough shot for Bentley is good. See, this is what I'm talking about, a lack of consistency. Like a couple possessions ago, that might have been a foul on Metamora. We couldn't tell you for sure. Allmendier directing for some movement from Youngquist. 6:27 to go. Ramage to Allmendier. Dusek and Sewell will sub in next dead ball for the Rockets. Ramage about ready to do the YMCA on the right post, calling for the ball. She eventually gets it. Or maybe the Skol Vikings chant. That was probably more accurate. Spin move on the post. Gets it in. Katie, 5 points on the night. 52-30 Redbirds with 5:50 to go in the fourth quarter. West on the wing for Jordan. Bentley, ooh, nice defense. Katie Allmendier got a small deflection in there. And Cam Youngquist gets the steal. She's getting shoved. Shot fake, two is good. All you can do is laugh at this point. 54-30 Metamora with 5:15 to go. We're lucky it's a 24-point game because, Brad, I think you and I can agree there might be a couple more groans from the crowd if it was a little closer. Bentley, tough shot. Ellie Bentley for two. Makes it 54-32. I forgot to put the other basket in my scorebook for Limestone, but now I got it. I guess it was also Bentley. Bentley now with 13 points. Redgate from just beyond the free throw line. Ooh, tough miss. Ramage goes down hard, but she appears to be okay. Frustrated with herself, but okay. And Redgate gets the pass to deflect right back off Hannah West's leg. And so it's a turnover to Metamora. Russell, Marshall, Stivers all in. And, Limestone called time. Limestone calls a full timeout at 4:35 in the fourth quarter. And I don't know, this might just be my 2 cents, but I would have waited the next 35 seconds for the mass timeout because sometimes, and I'll give credit to the coaches, you obviously 2 years ago didn't have this problem. But in the college game, sometimes you'll see a coach maybe say, in the women's game, let's use that as an example. Well, we're not playing well, but there's 5:15 to go in the second quarter. And, we play it out a couple more seconds and we'll get the media timeout. You're able to plan that in mentally if that's how you know how the game works. At the high school level, obviously, any coach, from the most experienced to the least experienced, is not going to be used to having the strategy of, okay, well, you know what, we're only maybe a possession or two away from the mass timeout, so let's hold off. But you're supposed to take the mass timeout first dead ball under four. It's not always followed, and by that I mean sometimes the coaches agree pregame that, we're fine without the mass timeouts. Tough defense this trip from Limestone. Ramage fires it to Stivers to Marshall with contact, no whistle, and then Jordan just threw a little bit of an elbow. Nothing severe, but did throw a little something there. Sewell driving on Russell, deflected by Stivers. Ella Stivers, by the way, 6 points a game. Had a 14-point second half a couple games ago. Three for Jordan, good. Jakaya Jordan gets Limestone back within 19 with 4 minutes to go. Almendier driving, floater, rolls out, gets her own rebound. Bentley will sub in next dead ball for Limestone. Marshall trying to get around the defense. Stivers put back, and there we go. It took until 3:33 to go in the game, but Limestone is finally called for their first foul of the second half. Anaya Seldal, her first, team's first. And as mentioned, there's that dead ball under 4. So we do have our masked timeout before Ella Stivers can shoot her 2 free throws. 3:33 to go in the fourth quarter. Metamora 54, Limestone 35. All right, back out of the masked timeout here in the fourth quarter. 19-point lead for Metamora. Ella Stivers at the line shooting 2. Limestone apparently thought there was only 1. There's definitely 2. It happens. They laugh it off. I saw one where clearly a 2-shot foul, and everybody just went at it as opposed to just a couple players. Lane Jackson for Brooklyn Marshall. Again, Brooklyn signing to play at Olivet Nazarene next Wednesday. I'm assuming this will have hit the air by then. Bentley on Russell. Now West on Ramage. Dusek able to keep that in bounds. I heard one of her teammates telling her to shoot it, couldn't tell who. West might have just lost it out of bounds, yep. Mallory Bennett will enter and replace Ella Stivers. Mallory, first game since East Peoria. So good to see her in the game. 20-point lead. Bennett with it. Drop pass for Ramage. Tough shot, a lot of contact, but gets it to go. Katie with 7. Lane Jackson, Mallory Bennett, Katie Ramage, Katie Lalamandir, Alyssa Russell on the floor. 2:32 to go. Jordan. Oh, Lane's got to be careful there. Corner 3 is good for West. Makes it 57-38, 2:13 to go. High pass for Ramage, stolen away by Sewell. Long 2 for, oh no, they call it a 3. No, it's a 2, it's a 2. Ellie Bentley makes the 2. It's not even this official's call, but it was a 2. It's 57-40. For one, not just because it's not his cylinder, but that wasn't where the shot was. And I hate to bring it back up. Metamora boys basketball fans, plug your ears. But the super sectional 3 that wasn't kind of similar situation there, official from nowhere near where the shot happened, came in and made the call that woulda, coulda, shoulda, but you could argue prevented Metamora from making state. Obviously much lower implications here, but still interesting situation. 57-40, 2:01 to go. Youngquist to Bennett. Back to Lalamandir, 1:48 to go. Redbirds, barring anything crazy, should get the win to move to 2-0 in the conference. Nice defense from Mia Dusek. Izzy Vanderstraff in for the fourth quarter as well. Everybody has played here in the fourth quarter. Sideline inbound for Youngquist to Lalamandir. Bennett at the wing. And a foul on Limestone. Hannah West, her second, team second, and just 7th of the game. So I guess now that you know the game's in hand, there's only 94 seconds left. Vanderstraff with the sideline inbound. To Stivers on the left post. Tough shot for Ella, rolls it in. Ella Stivers on the board, 59-40. Should be 58-40, unless one of our twos got ruled a 3. Or did Ella make one of those free throws? Ella made one of those free throws, so that, and then, get one more interesting call in. Katie Lallemand-Deer, her 4th, team's 8th. So if Ella did make one of those free throws, which, yep, because the board's got her with 40, or with 3. Ella with 40. Well, that escalated quickly. She went from 3 to 40 points in 5 seconds. That's why you look at the scoreboard twice before you say something. 1 in bonus. First one's good for, I think that's Ellie Bentley. Her hair is blocking the number on the right side of her jersey, but I think it's her. First one is good. Second one is also good. 59-42, 1:10 to go. Stivers to Youngquist, nice pass to Bennett, and Sewell sends that one out. 1:01 to go, 17-point game. Let's see, probably either Vandeschraff, Youngquist, or Ramage. Probably going to be one of those 3 that we talked to post-game on top of talking with our usual post-game interview with Coach Kyle Wyanoth. I kind of always go down and I give him a couple names and say, if it's one of those 3, one of those couple of players, that's, it works for me. Actually, I don't think we've talked to any of the 3 of them yet for Redbird replay. 50 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter. Redbirds by 17. Bennett being fouled. Because we were kind of talking about that on Tuesday in the Notre Dame game in terms of crossing the line between good defense and fouling. Because that line does exist. Like that. 30 seconds to go, 17-point lead. .9 to go, 59-42. Vandeschraff will inbound sideline. Jordan defending the inbound. Lallemand-Deer just knocked to the ground and they don't blow that whistle. Ellie Bentley for 2. .15 seconds. That's a blocking foul on West, and they call that, but they don't call Katie getting knocked to the ground. West her 3rd, team's 3rd, and it's nothing against Limestone or the way they're playing or anything close to that. Circling back to my thought earlier about consistency. 14 seconds to go and a 15-point advantage. Lallemand-Deer, that's a reach in by Bentley. Doesn't really matter now. Okay, why are you doing that? We're up 15. Let it be. And she still had to take the ball away, which I'm not sure about that. Lallemand-Deer kind of laughing that off. Again, your final score, Metamora 59, Limestone 44. We'll be back with head coach Kyle Wyanoth, and we're looking at either Izzy Vandeschraff, Cam Youngquist, or Katie Ramage. We'll see who we get. All right, back here post-game now with Cam Youngquist. And Cam, well, as is tradition, I like to get the negative question out of the way first. And this is no dig at Limestone in any way. I'm sure that's a little closer than you guys probably would have liked, right?
Yeah.
What do you think played into that? Was it Ellie Bentley's 19 points? Was it some way you guys were playing? How'd you see that?
They have really good shooters. They're super good from the 3. I think sometimes we could execute a little better on offense and hit the open posts and stuff in the zone and knock down a couple more shots, and then I think we would have been better.
Is it maybe a little hangover as well from the frustrating loss on Tuesday, or any of that at all, you think?
Coach talked to us about that before the game, about how we need to be ready and just brush that loss off and be ready for this next game. So I think that might have played into it a little bit as well.
Obviously, we talk about how it's maybe a little closer game than you would have liked, but you look at, Kayla had 16, Izzy had 10, you nearly had double figures, Alyssa, and then Katie was a 3 shy of double figures as well. So even though it was closer than we would have liked, the balanced scoring was certainly there, right? Kind of talk about the flow of the offense tonight.
I think from the zone, we struggle a little bit more than when we get played against man. but it helps a lot that we have a lot of people who can shoot from the outside. We have super good posts when we get it in. They can finish super strong. And it helps a lot that we can drain like threes when we need them. And I think it would help a lot if we looked inside a little bit more against the zone. But other than that, our zone offense is pretty solid.
Big week coming up next week. Dunlap on Tuesday, Morton on Thursday.
Yeah.
Obviously, got to take a game at a time, but where do you think
Yeah.
the team's at going into those two big ones?
We're really excited. We've been talking about both games since like the beginning of the season, since we lost to Dunlap last year one time. And Morton, it's like we want redemption this year, and it's super exciting.
Well, Cam, we'll let you go, and we'll talk to Coach Wynath here in a little bit. Thanks for the time.
Yep.
All right, back post-game with head coach Kyle Wynath. And, Coach, I think we got to start with this, and same thing I started with Cam. And I want to emphasize, like I did with Cam, not a dig on Limestone in any way, but I think it's maybe a little closer a game than you would have liked.
You know, I told him after the game it's a varsity team, right? And so you're playing another varsity opponent, and nobody likes getting beat. You know, if we were down, we'd be trying to scratch and claw our way back into it. And, you know, we don't expect anybody on our schedule, regardless of the score, to just, you know, decide to cash it in and take the rest of the game off. So they're going to battle all the way down to the final second and the final minute. And, you know, that's what we expect every game out. You know, and I told you the other night, you know, we're just going to try to get a win. And so we're leaving here tonight on a winning streak of 1. And we're just going to try to build from there, you know, whether it would have been 1 point or 12 points or 15 points. I don't even know how many it was, but, you know, we're just trying to come in and win a game.
What was the biggest difference defensively from your angle when you look at the 2-point first quarter to 15, 11, and 16? What do you think they did so differently between the second and fourth quarters?
Well, you know, I thought we had great energy to get started with. And, you know, credit to them. We talked a lot about it. You know, we had a game or two on them scouting-wise, and, you know, they had about 4 girls that are right around capable of scoring right around 10 points. So, you know, they shot the 3 well in a couple of those games we saw, and tonight they knocked down some 3s. So, you know, when you can shoot the 3 ball, it gives you a chance to stay in it. It also gives you a chance to score a few more points, right? So, you know, but I thought our energy to really challenged them, like, hey, you know, we got to turn the page from Tuesday. You know, I was interested to see what our first 4 minutes looked like in terms of our effort and our dedication on the defensive side of things, and I was pleased and happy with it. You know, where we went from there, you know, sometimes you can play good D and they can hit a shot. You know, we gave them a few easy ones, but you know, overall, I'm pretty pleased with the effort.
Balanced scoring. Obviously, you nearly have 4 in double figures within a basket of having 5. Kind of talk to me about that effort tonight.
Yeah, you know, a product of unselfish play, you know, and not, you know, just coming in and kind of taking what they gave us. You know, we figured they were going to come out in their 2-3 zone, and they did, and so we were kind of primed to move the ball and see where those openings were going to be. You know, our girls have done a great job, even when they're out on the bench, you know, getting a breather, or our girls that are waiting to get in. Of watching the game unfold, and they start seeing some of those openings and opportunities against that zone. And so when they got in there, they did a nice job of trying to exploit that a little bit. And you know, I thought there were times that we kind of missed some people as well. But we'll just continue to get a little bit better.
We'll wrap up with this. Obviously, big week next week. Defending conference champ Dunlap on Tuesday. Number 2 Morton on Thursday. Where do you think the team's mindset is going into those big games?
You know, I think we're in a good spot, and I told them, you know, we got to have a few good days of preparation, and I know this group pretty good now as we've gotten several games into our season, and we're a few weeks in, and I feel like, you know, their mind's in the right spot. We're trying to prepare and get better, and, you know, our focus right now is just how much better can we try to get tomorrow, and then we'll kind of play it by ear by the time we roll to Tuesday. But we've got a long way to go between now and Tuesday,
for sure,
in terms of preparation.
I bet. All right, Coach, thank you so much for the time, and congrats on the win.
Thanks.